Hello everyone, I hope you are taking good care of yourself in these trying times. Today we will start a little bit of literature. Previously we have done a little bit of writing. I will pause it there for a while because our literature is falling behind. Today I shall start a chapter which you have probably seen me doing at a different time and space, but I will repeat this chapter for you because this is a very important chapter from your exam point of view. It is a very important chapter for you. So I will repeat this chapter for you. Remember, in the prose section you have got the last lesson. You have got indigo, you have got lost spring, you have got memoirs of a Chota Saheb. I'll just write memoirs here. You see, these are the chapters. Besides this, there is one more, that is going places, which a different teacher will be helping you with. These chapters are very, very important. Whoever helps you with this from the college, please pay attention whenever any of these chapters are done with you, because these chapters are very important. Many questions are asked from this chapter. Most importantly, these chapters carry very simple and straightforward questions, and you should not miss them, right? So today what I am going to do is that I am going to repeat for you a chapter. The name of the chapter is Lost Spring. Before I begin this, I must thank you all, Orgo, Ronnie, Rumana, then many other students whose name probably I am not being able to recollect at this moment. Many of you are sending your answers. Whenever I give you some question, you send me the answers, especially in general English. This is a very good thing. First of all, it shows whether what we are teaching you, you understand or not, plus you are getting a practice. Those who are sending me the answers, you are actually doing yourself a very good service. Please remember, when the exam comes, you will see, you will be very, very prepared with these things. So today we will once again discuss this chapter called Lost Spring with you. And this chapter has been written by Anis Jung. And this chapter, Lost Spring, this is a piece of non-fiction. What is non-fiction? That is, everything that has been described in the chapter is true. Anis Jung is a journalist and she writes for newspapers as well. This one, and she has been an editor and a columnist of major newspapers, and this chapter is one of those stories that she has reported for a newspaper. So journalists, as you know, they go out in the field and report stories. Remember, when I was discussing report writing with you, I told you that there are two kinds of report. One is a news report, one is a non-news report. In a news report also, there are various kinds of reports. Like what reports we are writing for the grammar, those reports are basically hard news. Alright, these are hard news. Hard news because they basically describe an event that immediately took place. But there are certain things about which we would like to know. Alright, they did not happen immediately, but we want to know about them. For example, you want to know more about the current scenario, that is the COVID-19, what is happening, how did it start, how did it spread, how many people have died. You want to know all these things. Such news stories are called feature, soft news, or human interest stories. Human interest stories. Alright, they are known as features, soft news, or human interest stories. Are you following? So any report that you write about, suppose a flood, an accident, a fire that broke out, or even a patient who has been detected COVID positive in your locality yesterday, these are examples, these are events that took place, and these news reports describe the event that took place. These are basically, it will not talk about something extra, it will focus on that event. This is what you are writing for your news report, which you saw me doing and you also did and sent me. These are called hard news. And when a news story describes, suppose something in detail, suppose tomorrow we have a new Prime Minister, suppose Narendra Modi has just become the Prime Minister, right? We want to know more about such success stories, is it not? How did Narendra Modi become the Prime Minister? How did he spend his childhood? How did he grow up? Where did he study? What kind of political training did he have? We want to know about all these things, is it not? It is also a news, but it is a much detailed news which will describe a lot. Such kind of news items are larger, they will be very big. If you open a newspaper, you will see half the newspaper, a full page of a newspaper will be occupied by that news, and there will be a lot of pictures and everything. So those news are called feature stories, soft news, or human interest stories. Why human interest stories? Human interest stories because we are interested in knowing it. A large number of people will be interested in knowing it. Plus human interest because it describes something about, you know, humanity at large. Common pains, common miseries, success, alright, these are common to all humanity. So human interest news. Now the difference between writing a piece of hard news and a human interest story is that in a hard news, you basically, as I told you the other day, remember, you try to answer the 5 W's and 1 H. Remember I told you during the, while you wrote the report, I told you, is it not, that we will try to write the answer the 5 W's and 1 H. What were the 5 W's? What, where, when, who, alright. So how do we write a hard news report? We have seen when we learned how to write a hard news, basically how to write a report, all the reports that you are writing. I told you that you should answer the 5 W's and 1 H, is it not? Now what are the 5 W's? The 5 W's are what, where, why, who, when. What, where, why, who, when. These are the 5 W's, and 1 H, that is how. So basically in the report that you are writing for the exam, which are hard news, you will answer it like this, 5 W's and 1 H. Like for example, if a bike was stolen yesterday, so you would write a bike, a motorcycle belonging to so and so was stolen from Badarpur Bazaar at around 5 p.m. this morning, sorry, 5 p.m. today. Then according to police, the bike was stolen by a group of professional thieves who are active in the area. So this is how you write a hard news report. How do you write a human interest story then? A human interest story need not answer this 5 W's and 1 H like this. It will be basically written like a detailed story. It will be written like a what? It will be written like a detailed story. It will describe things. And in that human interest story, the journalist can use words like I, we, because he will go and he will speak to those people, so he can use these words. In our story, this Lost Spring, it is divided into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. Remember, this Lost Spring basically describes the perils, the dangers of child labor. Okay, what does it describe? This whole chapter describes all the problems associated with child labor. Now, what happens when you engage a child in child labor? What happens? Yes, he cannot go to school. Yes, he cannot play. And what? What is the most, do you think child labor, as you know, is banned in India? Is it not? It is illegal. You cannot employ any person below the age of 18 into any hazardous work. Now, why is that so? Why is child labor banned? You see, everything has a reason. So I would like to ask you this question. What happens if you engage a person if you engage a child in child labor? What happens? Yes, as I said, some of you may say he cannot go to school, so he will turn out to be an uneducated person. You might say that he will not have time to play, and all the other points that you may think of. He may get hurt, right? The biggest problem of child labor is that when you engage a child into child labor, you do a very great damage. You rob mane steal. All right, you rob his childhood. That is, you rob his childhood. You steal away his childhood. So what happens if you steal away his childhood? What happens? What happens is that you snatch away the opportunity for the child to grow up as a normal human being. You snatch away from the child the opportunity for the child to grow up as a normal human being. Remember one thing, remember a very important thing. A person who has never received love cannot give love. If in my life I have never seen mercy from my teachers, I cannot be merciful towards you when you make a mistake. Alright? If my teachers have forgiven my faults, if my teachers have got angry at me and then at one time they have forgiven my faults, then I will be able to forgive you. Because I know and I understand, if that day my teacher would not forgive me, what would happen to me? Right? So a person who has never been forgiven, a person who has never been loved, a person who has never seen mercy cannot give these things back to the society. Right? So when you put a child to child labor, you may have seen child labor? You may have seen small children hanging by the side of vehicles, collecting money from the people. You call them handymen. Right? These children, you have pushed those children to take such great risks in its life. It will also extend the same kind of treatment when it grows up. Right? So that is why child labor is a very dangerous thing, very bad thing, a social menace which must at all times be discouraged. Now our story discusses the problems of child labor through the eyes of two people mainly. One is Saheb and the other is Mukesh. One is Saheb and the other is Mukesh. In part 1, Saheb and his friends are rag pickers. What are they? They are rag pickers. And in part 2, Mukesh and his friends are workers in glass bangle factories. Alright, so please try and understand this. Part 1 describes the story of Saheb and his friends, and Saheb and his friends are rag pickers. What are they? They are rag pickers. What are rag pickers? I will tell you. And Mukesh and his friends, we will come across their story in part 2. Part 2 describes the story of Mukesh and his friends, and Mukesh and his friends are what? Mukesh and his friends are workers in glass bangle factories of Firozabad, of this place called Firozabad. And this story, part 1 story, happens in this place called Simapuri. Clear? Now I want you to write down some questions, and the answers to these questions must reach me on my email. I will continue with the class, but before that, write down some questions. These are very important questions. Write down. Where does the story of Saheb take place? Where does the story of Saheb take place? Where does the story of Saheb take place? The story of Saheb takes place in Simapuri. Where does the story of Mukesh take place? Question number 2. Where does the story of Mukesh take place? The story of Mukesh takes place in Firozabad. Alright. Next question. What is Saheb's occupation? What is Saheb's occupation? Question number 4. What is Mukesh's occupation? What is Mukesh's occupation? Written the questions? Very good. Now let us proceed. So today we shall basically look at part 1 only. We'll look at the story of Saheb. Now the author meets this boy called Saheb. He's a small boy. He's a rag picker. Okay, he's a rag picker. What is a rag picker? Do you know what is rag? This is an example of rag. This is an example of rag. Basically a worn out piece of cloth that is useless and you just throw it. This cloth is useless, you throw it. In this story, however, rag picker basically means a person who picks up garbage. Alright? You may have seen in the towns, and if you have ever traveled on a train, you may have seen there are small children who come and pick up plastic bottles. Have you seen? And put it in a sack. Have you seen? These are rag pickers. Alright? These are rag pickers. And we are now studying one such story, the life of one such rag picker called Saheb. Now, what is Saheb's profession? Saheb is a rag picker by profession. Now, where does he stay? He stays in Simapuri. Where does he stay? He stays in Simapuri. And where is Simapuri? Simapuri is a place near Delhi. It's a place near Delhi. He stays in Simapuri near Delhi. Now, Saheb is not originally from Delhi. Saheb is not originally from Delhi. So, write down the 5th question. Question number 5. Where is Saheb's original home? Saheb's original home is in Dhaka. And where is Dhaka? Dhaka is in Bangladesh. Dhaka is in Bangladesh. So, where is Saheb's original home? Saheb's original home is in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Now, you might ask me this question. If Saheb's original home is in Dhaka, Bangladesh, how come, what is Saheb doing in Delhi? How did he come to Delhi? Write down the 6th question. Question number 6 is, why did Saheb's family migrate from Dhaka to Delhi? Now, Saheb is from Dhaka, but storms had destroyed their house in Dhaka. So, Saheb's family had to migrate from Dhaka to India in search of what? Searching for livelihood. Searching for livelihood. What is livelihood? Livelihood means a work that you do to earn money. A work that you do to earn money, a way of gathering food for yourself. Livelihood. So, why did Saheb's family migrate from Dhaka to Delhi? Migrate. Move from one place to the other. Why did Saheb's family migrate from Dhaka to Delhi? Saheb's family migrated from Dhaka to Delhi because storms had destroyed their home in Dhaka, and so in search of livelihood they have come over to Delhi. Now, Saheb does not wear any footwear. Saheb does not wear what? Does not wear any footwear. That is, he walks around without any shoes or without any sandals. He walks around bare feet. Now, why does he walk around bare feet? When the author asks Saheb, why do you not wear shoes? Saheb says that he does not wear shoes because his mother did not get them from the shelf. So shoes, he says, are kept on a shelf and his mother did not get them for him. His friend says that Saheb does not wear shoes. Even if his mother gave him the shoes, he would not wear the shoes. He doesn't like to wear shoes. Now, once the author had asked Saheb, why don't you go to school? The author once asked Saheb, why don't you go to school? Saheb, why doesn't he go to school? Saheb said, I don't go to school because there is no school in my locality. So please write down the 7th question. Why does Saheb not go to school? Saheb does not go to school because there is no school in Saheb's locality. Clear? Okay. Now, Saheb is just his pet name. His full name is Saheb-e-Alam. Saheb-e-Alam. This is his full name. What is Saheb's full name? Saheb's full name is Saheb-e-Alam. Very important question. What is Saheb's full name? This is your 8th question. What is Saheb's full name? Saheb's full name is Saheb-e-Alam. This is your 8th question. Now the 9th question. What is the meaning of Saheb's name? What is the meaning of Saheb's name? The meaning of Saheb's name is Alam means universe. Alam means universe. Saheb means Lord or Master. Alright? And this A means of. So it means Saheb, the meaning of Saheb-e-Alam is Lord of the universe. What is the meaning of Saheb's name? The meaning of Saheb's name is Lord of the universe, the owner of the whole universe. Alright? So I told you the 9th question is, what is Saheb's full name? Sorry, the 8th question is, what is Saheb's full name? 9th question is, what is the meaning of Saheb's full name? The 10th question is, what is the irony? What is the irony? I-R-O-N-Y. What is the irony in Saheb's name? What is the irony in Saheb's name? Now, first of all, what is an irony really? What do you mean by an irony? Irony, in writing, irony, it is a figure of speech. It is a what? Irony is a figure of speech. What is figure of speech? Figure of speech, these figures of speech basically are various techniques to beautify the language. Figures of speech are various techniques to beautify the language. There are many figures of speech. Irony is one figure of speech. Irony is one such figure of speech. And what is it? Irony is basically when the contrary mane in Bangla, contrary means ulta, reverse. When the contrary of what has been said or is expected actually happens, this is called an irony. Clear? When the reverse of what has been said, or is expected actually takes place, this is an irony. So let me explain to you this whole thing. What is the meaning of Saheb's full name? The meaning of Saheb's full name is the Lord or the owner of the universe. What do you expect the owner of the whole universe to be? You expect him to be rich, you expect him to be powerful, but actually what is Saheb? So this is what you expect from his name. Lord of the universe will be somebody rich, somebody powerful. But in reality, Saheb is just a poor rag picker. This is the irony in his name. So this is the first part. So in the first part, we study the story of Saheb, who is a rag picker. He stays in Simapuri, which is near Delhi. His family have migrated from Dhaka to Delhi because storms had destroyed their home in Dhaka. So in search of livelihood, they have moved to Delhi. Saheb's full name is Saheb-e-Alam, which means Lord of the universe. But there is an irony in his name. The irony is that although his name means Lord of the universe, he is actually a poor and powerless rag picker. So this is all about the chapter. I hope you have noted the question, and please send the answers. I will check who are sending the answers. One day suddenly I will call you up, those who are not submitting the answers. Please note my email ID again. It is zahid.ecn@gmail.com. Please send your answers to me. Please write your names and send me your answers to this email ID. Thank you very much.